I knew when I really wanted to be a teacher when the first time I was asked to work in a kindergarten class which had students with learning disabilities. And I will never forget the day. There was this very cute little student and they just kept grabbing on my leg and wanted to give me a hug. And for a moment there I was like, wow, that's awesome. Like the first time I come to work, I'm getting a hug. So not too long into the day, the teacher that was in the room, one of the other teachers that were in the room, she apologized to me. She's like, oh my goodness, I'm really sorry. I just want to apologize to you. And I'm just so confused, and I'm like, well, why? She said, well, I noticed that student kept hugging you a lot, and I know that can be really annoying. And I said, well, they're kindergartners. How can a kindergartner be annoying? This is what they do. They like to hug. I didn't expect anything different. Long story short, she said, well, you look just like his mother, and I can't stand his mother. And he doesn't even learn, and he doesn't try to learn, and she doesn't try to help him, and I give up. And I remember looking at her and saying, wow, because I was really lost for words. Right then and there, I knew for sure that I wanted to be a teacher because of teachers like that are in the classroom and that speak the way they do in front of their students. In my opinion, I felt like she thought he wasn't capable of understanding what she was talking about. I didn't see anything wrong with a hug. I think that's a very natural reaction when a student feels comfortable with you. Moving forward, it really reminded me of a situation in my life when growing up in Newark, New Jersey, my mother was not from this country. She didn't know much about the public school system, which is A-okay, but I would never forget my first year going to a public school. And it wasn't in the best neighborhood. In fact, it was kind of in a dangerous neighborhood at the time. Growing up, being biracial, I was made fun of a lot for being biracial, for saying I am this and this, and I would never forget that this girl made my life almost feel unbearable. So each day I would stress my mother out to not go to school. I would fake sick. I would do anything in the book to make sure I just didn't go to school. Long story short, I will never forget my teacher. She was also a first-year teacher. And I remember how kind she was, and I remember she would give me a ride home because it was such a dangerous neighborhood. And she was always so warm and so welcoming, and she knew I loved to read. So oftentimes she would suggest a book, but we had little conversations, and I still remember those little conversations. And although I think that I missed a year of my schooling in 4th grade, I think her kindness is what I remember most from such I would say a situation that the outcome could not have been so great. Moving forward, I will never forget when I went to 5th grade, my mother put me back into a private school, and I really did miss a year of content, of learning math and English and anything else. And I had one teacher, I never forget the way she made me feel, how nervous she made me feel, and how poorly she would talk about me in front of other teachers, and how she too would talk about my mother. She would say things like, you can't learn. She made me feel like I was practically unteachable. I would never forget the first time she made me go to the board to do division, and I remember shaking because I just couldn't do it. And it wasn't because I wasn't smart, and it wasn't because I wasn't good at math. It was the way she made me feel. She made me feel like I did not matter. That situation, being in that kindergarten classroom, really, really reminded me of my 5th grade teacher. And I feel like she was limiting the capabilities of that student just the same way that my 5th grade teacher limited mine. And when I think about where I am today in my life, I don't think that my teacher would have ever thought that I too would be a teacher one day. I feel so strongly about advocating for students, not only because I really want to be a teacher and I see that there's treatment in the classroom that could be better or worked on, but I am a parent. So every time I walk into a classroom, I really feel like I have an obligation, because in every student's face, every single student's face, I see my son's face. And I always tell myself and I remind myself, how would I want my son's teacher to treat him? And I walk in with that mindset every single day. Every single day, which child I meet, I want to make sure that they are given the same respect and the same treatment I would give my son. So every day, I try my best to come in a classroom positive and ready to work hard and ready to give my best, and never to think that a child is not capable of doing something, and telling them that you're capable of achieving anything you want to do. Because I had a teacher that was kind, in the most unfit circumstances, I'm able to give back and pay my dues. Moving forward, I plan to pursue a career as a teacher. I plan to use my own personal experiences to advocate for students as well as parents. I think what is most important is keeping education as the forefront and making sure that we are enriching every student's life. Once again, my name is Maria McNeil, and I thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Keep education first.